Hello, I'm Robert, and this is my Blue Stamp Engineering project at Milestone 3. For the third milestone, I needed to write the MIT App Inventor Android app to work with the claw, and I needed to write the Arduino code to respond to the Android app. And I needed to wire the Bluetooth module up to my setup in order for the Arduino to be able to receive Bluetooth signals. So the first thing I did was learn how to use MIT App Inventor, which was pretty easy, honestly. There's a lot of documentation, and it uses it uses Scratch's code setup, which is another MIT property, so it makes sense. Um, so it was really easy for me to pick up since I know a little bit of Scratch from back in the day. But once I had written the app inventor code, I was able to move to the next step, which for me was wiring up this Bluetooth module. It's pretty simple since all the ports on it are labeled, so hooking it up to the Arduino wasn't all too difficult. I had to set up a voltage splitter using all these resistors here. I had to set up a voltage splitter because the Bluetooth module can only accept signals in 3.3 volts, and the Arduino sends them in 5. But once I had done that, it was pretty easy. The next and final, or so I thought, we'll get into that step, was writing code for the Arduino, which wasn't too bad once I figured out how the sending and receiving of data worked from both MIT App Inventor and the Arduino. I used a lot of the same code from my second milestone for actually moving the servos, and I created a function so it was a little easier. You can see that in my documentation, which is somewhere else on this website, maybe like there or something. But I still had a problem, and that was getting the arm to actually, well, sorry, it was that whenever you slide a slider, it jitters immensely. So when I plug it in and I turn it on, you'll see that after a second it'll snap into position. And whenever I slide a slider, which it's kind of hard to see, let me see if I can lower the brightness here so it gets picked up a little bit better. Whenever I move a slider, oh, I have to connect to the Bluetooth module first, silly me. But once you connect, whenever you slide a slider, it jitters quite a lot. It does end up actually going to the position if you tap to a position on the slider, and this has something to do with the Bluetooth module and the power surge whenever it receives a Bluetooth input. I've tried to combat this using capacitors, but with working with my instructors, we've sort of determined that it's a necessary evil, essentially. There's not really an easy way around it. So, as you can see, I can get everything to respond. The claw here, the claw is the most finicky. For some reason, a lot of its inputs get eaten. I can move arm 2, arm 1, everything. I can articulate it however I need. And it works fairly well, so I'm really happy about that. And that's about the project. I've set up an external power source for the servos to try and combat the power surge issue, but it didn't really help all too much. It's kind of just an issue with the Arduino and power inconsistencies. The capacitors helped a little bit, but not too much. So yeah, that's my Blue Stamp project, and I'm really excited to go into modifications like installing a chassis so it can move around, and optimizing a lot of things and increasing the usability and features. Thank you.